My fault. There was some connection issues in the first live. So go ahead and share this live. Go ahead and share. And I'm a little bit glad it started over. I'm a little bit glad it disconnected. I feel like the first time I was trying to control my emotions too much, but now I'm gonna just let it fly. I'm gonna just let it fly. So this is week 7 of City Market. This is week 7 of City Market. What is this? It's a third time during City Market.
Were you getting arrested?
Yeah. This year. Okay. This is the third time that I've been arrested. Yes.
Third time on a Friday.
Third time on a Friday.
Because technically the last one was an arrest warrant. It wasn't City Market, and then you didn't even really get arrested in the permit for City Market.
On a Friday. On a Friday. That's what I'm talking about. On a Friday. On a Friday. So this is their 7th City Market week, and this is the third time that I've been arrested on Friday. And each of them arrests have taken place somewhere between 4 p.m. and 5:30. Now, if I didn't know no better, I think that sounds purposeful. If I didn't know no better, I would think that they arrest, because it's police officers regularly in and out of City Hall. It's police officers that done came by here throughout the week to issue city ordinance violations for putting up memorials. It's police officers that regularly pass by City Hall. It's police officers that know where I stay at, that know where I am, that regularly see me outside City Hall, but they wait until 4 p.m. on Friday night. Now, why do y'all think that is? I don't even feel like I need to ask that rhetorical question, because there ain't no question about it. It ain't no question about it. So I'm going to get into this. This is the 10th time I've been in jail. Since August. 10 months. In 10 months, I've been in jail 10 times. And this isn't my fault. This isn't a woe is me. This isn't oh look at me. This isn't oh I can't wait till I get some type of clout for this, or I'm bragging about this. I've been unjustly arrested 10 times. Never once have I gone. Let me clarify some things about some of these arrests. Never have I gone into a day thinking, damn, how do I get arrested today? How should I get arrested today? Oh, I want to get arrested today. That's never been a thought in my mind. Not even for a second. Not even for 1 second. So while I'm talking about that, I do want to talk about, I believe it is the last 2 times I've been arrested on warrants. The last 2 times I've been arrested have been on warrants. The first time I was arrested on a warrant was from a warrant that was from 2 weeks ago. I ain't never talked about it. It was a warrant from 2 weeks. Well, now I think it's 3 weeks ago. By the time it was 2 weeks ago. When the police officers came up to City Hall at 4 p.m., it was, I don't even know how many cars it was. It was so many of them. They get out the car. All of them get out the car. They get into the little group, the little mass up. They tell me I got a warrant. My first question is, what's the warrant for? They don't give me, they don't tell me what the warrant's for. They don't tell me who issued the warrant. They don't tell me where it's from, or when it was issued, who issued it, what the conditions of the warrant are, what the allegations are. They don't give me anything else. No other information other than the fact that I got a warrant. That's what they say. Now, let me ask y'all this. If white men pull up on you on the street and tell you got a warrant, but that's it, you just got a warrant, you just got to trust them. You just got to trust the police. No idea what it's for. No idea if it's actually real. They just coming to take you, put you in handcuffs. To where I'm almost feel like, before I even want to get into it, I'm going to talk about the second one, this one today. So this time I got arrested today. maybe around 5:30. Maybe around 5:30. All I'm doing is walking. All I'm doing is walking the perimeter of Sydney Market, just so I can see where it is, just so we can see where to set up at, where we're gonna be at. We're gonna be at for the week. I'm just walking Sydney Market. Then Jeremiah says early, come out and tell me I got a warrant. Don't tell me what it's for. Don't tell me, again, same thing as last time. Don't tell me no information, no, nothing. Just I got a warrant. And I'm just supposed to go peacefully with this man. To where I'm almost at a point, like, considering these last 2 times that I've been arrested on warrants, which are unjust warrants, which are unlawful warrants, which are unlawful and unjust arrests. So where I feel like I shouldn't even go peacefully no more. I shouldn't even go peacefully no more. I shouldn't even be quiet no more. Until they can pull up and give me a warrant and show me proof that this allegation is real. Why should I go peacefully? They trying to kidnap me. Think about that. Not just me. Not just me. I don't want to say that. Not just me. They trying to kidnap people. Because I know what happens to me and what happens to different protesters around here is just a microcosm of the things that have been happening in this century for decades. For decades. I know it's not isolated to me. I know they've been treating people the same way in fairgrounds. I know they've been treating people the same way in Concourse. I know they've been treating people the same way in Auburn Manor for decades. I was just in jail, and I told somebody I was in there with told me about how they've been beaten up by one of the corrections officers 10 years ago. He was a Metro at the time. So I know what happens to me is not isolated. It's things that have been happening for decades in just a microcosm of things that have been happening for decades. And I want to talk about Jeremiah Cesarli. Because this is the man who murdered an 18-year-old boy. This is a man who murdered a child whose grandmother called the police because she needed help. Let me ask you all this. If you ever known somebody who struggled with their mental health, or if you have personally struggled with your mental health, it's not a crazy idea. I think it is personally. I would never do it. But Logan Bell's grandmother, she did not call the police so they would hurt Logan Bell. Logan Bell's grandmother did not call the police wishing bad, I'm sure the police coming there and murdering him was the farthest thought from her mind. She was worried about his safety, and she was scared. And what did Jeremiah Cesarli do? He got there along with Philip Stotler and Andre Brass, and they murdered him. And that's who patrolling y'all city market. I don't want to say y'all. That's who patrolling they city market. So that's why I'm going to say make sure you spell it with 3 Ks. Because 50 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. But think about that. Who patrolling y'all city market? It's Jeremiah Cesarli. He murdered Logan Bell. It's Andre.
I think you're drunk. Go home. You're drunk.
It's on my fault. Let me get in. I'm not gonna get distracted by that. It's who's patrolling y'all city market? It's Jeremiah Cesarli. He murdered Logan Bell. It's Andrew Seal. He attempted murder. He shot somebody while they was walking away. Who's in charge of city market? It's people like last year. It was people like Kurt Wisenhan. He murdered Jimmy Carter back in '97. Who else was in charge of city market? Doug Pan. He had shot somebody. Who else was in charge of city market last year? Mike Dalkey. Lawsuits filed against him. Excessive force. So think about that. They got some of the most violent people some of the most violent people in the city is cops that are patrolling City Market every Friday. And don't get me wrong, that's not all they do. Because I know the same way that things that happen to protesters or things that happen to us here are just microcosms of things that they normally do. The assaults that took place last year, them pepper spraying a 12-year-old girl, them tackling people, them slamming women to the ground, chasing women on the bridge, slamming to the ground, them putting I ain't never talked about this on no live or nothing, but them putting a spit mask on, them covering my mouth and my nose with my hood and telling me they don't want me to breathe no more. That is just again, that's a microcosm of what these police officers have been doing in this city for decades. There ain't no heroes in the police officers. There ain't no heroes in RPD. There ain't no heroes in the sheriffs. It's murderers and attempted murderers and those that enable them. Those that have no issue with it. There ain't no good officers in there. There ain't no good officers in there. Now I want to talk about the weaponization of the police. The complete weaponization of the police. It's not no accident what police officers are stationed here. It's not no accident that Kathy McDermott has regularly called the police and weaponized the police out here. And it's almost gotten to a point where they almost doing our job for us. It almost gotten to a point where they doing our job for us. Think about what we here for. What we protesting. Protesting police terrorism, racial injustice, mass incarceration. Police terrorism, we seen that all last year. We seen it. We seen it all last year. All last year. It's police officers that they sending out here who have murdered people. Who have murdered people. It's police officers who out here who have shot people. Dominic McNeese, before he shot Tyrus Jones, he was working City Market. He arrested people, charged them with felonies. Kurt was again. These police officers. My fault. I'm getting off track. My fault. I'm getting off track. I'm a little off track right now. I just got out of jail. I'm gonna use that one more time. So I do think. My fault. Let me take a reset. I don't got no water. So what are we protesting here? Police terrorism again. We seen that all last year, and they sending out the cops who have murdered people. They sending out the most violent cops. The most violent cops right here. Jeremiah says earlier, he a murderer. There's other police officers who are murderers. There's other police officers here who unjustly and unlawfully arrested people. There's other police officers here that brutalized people. Here last year. And to think that what we know now is not even the half of it. Not even the half of it. Denzel Duvant was just a normal day. That was just a normal day. That was just, nobody missed a day off. Dominic McNeese didn't miss a day off for assaulting Denzel Duvant like that. Brian Prine, who murdered Shannon Graves, rest in power, Shannon Graves, God rest his soul, on his death anniversary. God rest his soul. It's police officers here who have murdered people, and they send them out here. They're almost doing our job for us. What else? Racial injustice. Y'all remember when they wouldn't let the reporter in? When they wouldn't let Shaquille in City Market? They doing our job for us. That's all we have to do. We have to let white people be white people. And they showing y'all. They telling on themselves. Y'all just got to pay attention. And some of y'all have, and I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all, and I love y'all. But if you haven't yet, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't been aware of it yet, if you are kind of on the fence about it yet, as of this point, this your wake-up call. This your wake-up call right here. My fault, I didn't mean to bang on the table like that. But this your wake-up call. There ain't no more excuses no more. It's weekly now. It's weekly now. And for some people, for the folks down in Fairgrounds, for the folks down in Auburn Manor, it's daily. And it's been daily for decades. It's been daily for decades. So right now where I'm sitting, I'm banned from City Market by the City Market owners. I'm banned from City Market. Now, I want to say this. I ain't never been banned from nowhere in my life before. I ain't never been banned from nowhere in my life before. Never. Not once have I ever been. I can't think that I've ever been banned from somewhere before. And before August 7th, I ain't never been arrested before. I ain't never been in handcuffs. I was in a police car one time for a traffic stop. They put me in the back of the car while they searched the car. But before this, before August 7th last year, before August 7th, 2020, I had never been arrested before, never been in handcuffs, never been to jail. And since then, it's been 10 times. 10 times in 10 months. Think about that. I'm averaging once a month. And what happened? What changed? What changed from the previous 20 years of my life to this last year and some change? Is the fact that I'm talking about police terrorism. It's the fact that I'm talking about mass incarceration. It's the fact that I'm talking about racial injustice. It's the fact that I'm talking about how Kathy McDermott has weaponized the police. It's the fact that I'm talking about how Peter Provenzano cares more about his pockets than the well-being of the protesters down here. It's about the fact that I'm talking about how Tom McNamara values his pockets more than these names on the faces on light poles. It's the fact that I'm talking about how the city is trying to exploit these memorials and is seeking to make a nuts amount. I can't even get into the number that the city is thinking for putting up memorials. Think about that. The city is trying to make money off of memorials. People they killed. People they murdered. The city, that was enough for them. Now they got to make money off their faces. Now they're trying to make money off their names. That's the only thing that has changed in the past 10 months. And one thing that has happened, which I'm really grateful of, is that a letter from a Birmingham jail has played here recently. Has been played consistently throughout the occupation down here. And each time I hear it, each time I read it, or I prefer hearing it. I really do. I prefer hearing it. There's a different piece, different portion that I take away. There's a different portion, different piece that stick with me. And before, when was this? Before I had been arrested on any warrants, I believe when I was arrested for chalk. Think about that. I was arrested for chalk. And I got the allegation back. I got the paperwork back. And it's full of lies. It's full of things that never have happened. But it don't matter. It don't matter to these police officers here. Because that's not what Kathy McDermott wants. Kathy McDermott don't want the police officers to get the facts right. Kathy McDermott don't want the police officers to make sure everybody got their story straight. Kathy McDermott don't want the police officers to come out here and make sure everybody on the same page and the facts of the situation are laid out. Kathy McDermott wants the protesters gone. Kathy McDermott wants the chalk gone. Because it might mess up their pockets. And I've said this a lot. But for all the talk they do about minority owners and woman owners, the people making the most amount of money off it is the organizers. It's people like Peter Provenzano. It's people like Kathy McDermott. Them the ones making the most amount of money. My fault. I know I'm rambling here. My mind's all over the place right now. Okay. What are we going to get back into? This. A letter from a Birmingham jail. We're going to get back into this. And it has been played consistently. Probably one of the most consistent things that has been played throughout the time that we have been here. And I've been really grateful for that. And I've learned a lot just from listening to that and been able to draw and take away I have different takeaways each time I have listened to it. And the most recent time that I have listened to it, the thing that stuck with me, the thing that stood out to me before, that had never stood out to me before, is when he said, "One has a moral obligation to disobey unjust laws." One has a moral obligation to disobey unjust laws. Then he say, St. Thomas Aquinas would say that an unjust law is no law at all. An unjust law is no law at all. So despite the fact, again, this isn't a woe is me, despite the fact that I've been arrested 10 times, despite the fact that I've been to jail 10 times, I'm okay with that. Because I know not one of them allegations is true. I know that not one of them allegations or one of them charges was stick. I know that I'm innocent of all them charges. I know that each one of them arrests is unjust and each one of them arrests is unlawful. So I'm okay with that. I would rather have to suffer through, not suffer. I would rather have to struggle through a false arrest than sacrifice my conscience. I would rather struggle through a false arrest, an unjust arrest, than sacrifice my conscience. So that is why I say, when police officers come up here and tell me I got a warrant but don't tell me what it's for, I'm not going to go peacefully no more. I'm not going to go quietly no more. I'm not just going to let them take me no more. And that's not a threat or nothing like that. That's not whoa, I'm so tough or nothing like that. That's, I'm not going to let this happen no more. And some people don't have that choice. And I'm not encouraging people to do that. That's not what I want to portray. But for me, personally, knowing that is unjust arrest, knowing whatever charges may come is unlawful arrest, I'm not going to let these white men come up and kidnap me no more. Because that's what it is when y'all really think about that. Is people pulling up in a van, tell me I got to go, not tell me no other information. No other information. It's been times where I've been arrested, and the first time I know my charges is when I get bonded out. The first time. It's been times where I've been arrested, and the first time I am aware of my charges is when I get bonded out. And it's been times where I'm aware of my charges when I get bonded out. But when I get to my court date, they different charges. So tell me, do that really make sense to y'all? Do that really make sense to y'all? If police officers can arrest me just to arrest me, then think of the charge later. Just think of the charge later. Hell no. Hell no. Alright. So that is why the shitty market protests will continue. That is why we will continue to stay outside City Hall. That is why these memorials will stay up. That is why we will continue to be at Food Truck Tuesdays. And we will continue to talk about police terrorism, mass incarceration, and racial injustice. Because look at them. Look at what they doing. Look at what they doing. They telling on themselves. They really are. Y'all gotta pay attention. They are. I don't even know if y'all even really got to pay attention, because that's how obvious they making it. That's how obvious they making it. That is how obvious they making it. Y'all can go in there. Y'all can have fun, but don't say nothing about Denzel Duvant. Don't say nothing about Shannon Graves. Don't say nothing about Logan Bell, his murderer here. Don't say nothing about them. Don't say nothing about police terrorism. Don't say nothing about how the current intern police chief shot somebody. Don't say nothing about how the deputy chief murdered somebody. Don't say nothing about how Carla Rez shot at people. Don't say nothing about that. They telling on themselves. I'm all over the place right now. I'm rambling. I need to get something to eat and something to drink. I'm thirsty. My mouth real dry. Real quick, I just want to say that today is the death day of Shannon Graves. So I want to end on saying, rest in power, Shannon Graves. God rest his soul. I want to end on saying, rest in power, Logan Bell. God rest his soul. I want to say that despite the fact that people lost their grandson, despite the fact that people lost their nephew, their sons, despite the fact that people done lost their daughters, their aunts, their uncles, and police officers haven't even lost a paycheck. The struggle, man, my fault. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place right now. I'm all over the place. But I do want to end on saying that rest in power, Shannon Graves. Rest in power, Logan Bell. Rest in power, Demetrius Bennett. Rest in power to each of the names and faces that we have on these light poles. Rest in power to Foster and Great Tigo. The struggle continues.